Misha here, and this is definitely an ad hoc video because this came in right when I was at the cabin doing other stuff. So, first thing I did after getting back, not unpack, not even eat. Now we're going to do a preview video on this because, well, we waited literally the entire year of 2024 for this Zastava. So let's open it up and see what's in the box. I just want you to know it is very cold out here. But, yeah, I'd do it for you and for me. But let's see if this M72 was worth the wait. Again, it's a shame it didn't come in when we went out to the range, but such is life. Let me get this open here and I'll be right back with you. Yes, I figured the muzzle had kind of punched through the end a little bit and was holding it. So on top we get our paperwork. Yippee skippy. And, well, it's at least better packaging than what Arston would give you. Gotta give him that. So yeah, one magazine and paperwork. Let me unwrap this guy. Alrighty. Already a couple of surprises. Maybe not to you, but remember I can't see photos ahead of time, so yeah. Looking good here. Couple of things there. Couple of things here. But I'm already gonna ding it. No chamber flag. Okay, I'm teasing. But it did not come with a chamber flag in it. And it does have the notched hold open safety. And a couple other things. But let's flip it over for a minute. Okay. So, a couple of interesting features of this that are quite different from your typical Yugo Zastava M72 kit build. I'm sure most of you see what I'm talking about, but just because we like being thorough, let me throw my old kit build. Original barrel, I think it was an old R-Guns kit from, good grief, 20 years ago. Now I feel old. Let's get rid of the box too. Just cardboard. This has the slant brake, of course. This has a nut, but I wouldn't put much stock in that. But there's a couple, actually there's three things here that surprised me about the new M72. But moving back, we have the fluted barrel, as it should be. The short, thick handguard. Correct windage and elevation rear sight. Polished lightning cut carrier. The current modern gun has more of a matte blue finish. This is an all-original gun except for the NDS receiver. The safety is the same styling, just without the cutout. Pretty well the same there too. But we get to the back and there's a couple of differences. Obviously the pistol grip is one. But more intriguing, the buttstock. This does have the rubber recoil pad. But you'll notice the sling swivel here, and of course this kind of interesting shape. This has more of a comb, this is more straight back. The stock is very reminiscent of like an M76. And the pistol grip isn't too far off either. And the reason the swing swivel is now here instead of on the side of the receiver, we have a scope rail, which I was kind of halfway expecting. Trunnion and all that's the same. Both are on a 1.5 receiver. Front swivel's in the same place on the gas block, not the handguard retainer. One other interesting thing. This has the spring-loaded detent for the takedown. This does not, which is actually correct, at least for the original M72. So in some ways, this is closer to the original military than I thought. And in other ways, it has some kind of important and maybe noteworthy updates. What do you think? Zastava's M72, formerly of Yugoslavia, is often called an RPK. And generally speaking, that'll work. But the truth is, Zastava was more unique than that. They did their own thing. Is this a squad automatic, a light machine gun based on the Kalashnikov action? Long stroke, gas piston with a 2-lug bolt? Sure. Did it feed from standard mags? Yeah, although the Yugoslavian mag, I'll set one down here, was a little different in pattern, and it had the last round hold open follower. And it was a little different in the RPK, in the barrel, handguard, bipod, and certainly the buttstock. And to begin with, the receiver. Now, Yugoslavia didn't actually officially adopt an AK until the M70 in 1970. Now, yeah, there were earlier versions that we kind of called the M64, and there was the early RPK that we sometimes called the M65. We actually did a video on a build of one last year. Well, after adopting the standard rifle, 16-inch barrel with a lot of its unique features, they turned their attention to a support weapon to go with it. And in 1972, the M72 was patterned and put into production and service very soon thereafter, 1973, 1974. But the original M72 didn't look like this. It was actually still on a milled receiver, and it came in a fixed-stocked version, and then there was also the M72A, which was an underfolding stocked version, because Zastava loves them some underfolders. They did then, they do today. But very soon, just within a few years, they would switch over to this version, the M72B01. This is analogous to the M70B1 with a stamped, but it's a 1.5 millimeter receiver and a bulged trunnion. Still retain the smooth top cover, all that good stuff. There would also be an underfolding version, the M72AB1, stamped receiver and all that good stuff. And these would all be trimmed for 7.62 by 39, known in Russia as M43, known in Yugoslavia is the M67 cartridge, because it was a different loading. And this is a good example. It's a pretty clean kit build. As I said, it's on a Nodak receiver, but everything else is original, including the non-chrome lined but still hammer forged barrel, blued finish, honest wear, and I believe the numbers match, or at least are force matched on this guy. And these saw service and production for decades, and I think are still officially in at least some Serbian service today, and they were also a popular export. But mine here is an example of kind of your bog standard M72. A lot of kit guns look like this. But this is just for comparison. The star of the show, of course, is the finally released Zastava PAP M72 semi-automatic import. Again, this is a kit gun, so on a US receiver put together here, as it happens by me. But nope, this one is an import, and that's pretty neat. You know how we feel about him. So here we have it. I expected the receiver and the barrel, although I wasn't 100% sure they would do the venting. I assume they would because it's so iconic to this gun. And I really like how they've done their previous versions. And I thought they might do the wood grip, but this style of buttstock, while it's not unwelcome at all, did surprise me a wee bit. It having the spring-loaded takedown didn't super surprise me either, even though the most original guns didn't. A lot of your Mitchell's pre-ban M72s did. And I kind of figured they would do a scope rail. That seems to be something that Zastava just puts on most of their guns now. To be fair, so does Kuger. And of course that means the sling swivel has to be moved. But of course they did the correct rear sight. Now, you might be saying, well, why am I surprised? Well, years and years ago I got burned with the whole original AES-10 situation, and even the original AES-10Bs weren't 100% right. And there were a lot of Russian Saigas that were converted into, quote, RPKs that really were not. So, even though I was not really distrustful of Zastava, I wouldn't know till I got there. But there are a few things here that are quite interesting. I pointed out the slant muzzle brake, but it does have the retaining plate here. This does come on a lot of kits, but I don't know if I've seen Zastava put it on their new made guns. Something that I really wasn't expecting to find, this has the flip up low light sight. Their M70s don't have this, at least not yet. Now, there's not a rear sight on this. That's just kind of based on how they're made. But it's there. So those two elements kind of surprised me. But the one that I think is super neat is actually this bipod mount. This has the quick detach mount. It's very cold out here. Yeah, I started to not be able to feel my fingers on this steel. It has the quick detach bipod, which is something Zastava has offered on the M72, at least later variants, for a while. And I do believe at least some of the pre-bans had them. But that's pretty neat. Now, if they only ever did the quick change barrel version, that'd be super neat. But yeah, pulling that off does give this a different feeling. In fact, it really doesn't feel, thanks to this pistol grip and stock, too much off from a rifle. Of course, this is new unfired, so, you know, the action needs to smooth out a bit. On the other hand, this is actually a double hook trigger in here. I like that. Dimpled receiver, of course. It is correct not to have the XY stamps because of the heavier receiver. It has a nice oil finish. It is a nice attractive gun. Let's try mag fitment real quick here. So here it is with the supplied Magpul. I believe it's a Magpul. If not, it's a close enough knockoff. It feels like a Magpul. And now let's try it with that original Yugo pattern I brought out with the hold open follower. Why not? And again, no problems going in. I didn't expect so. Zastava USA takes care of their mag wells quite well. And it holds open on the last round. And the idea is you can use this to hold it back further while you do mag exchanges. It's an ad hoc system, but it works. You know, originally with the M64, M65s, they did try a true automatic last round hold open device, but then that meant that it didn't have standard AK mag compatibility, so they went to this as a, you know, compromise solution. It works well enough. But you do have to pop your mag out and let your bolt go forward, or it'll let itself go forward quite easily if you don't. No, I mean, it's Zastava. I frankly didn't expect anything less. Top cover fit is fine. It's a good fit. I actually do like this pistol grip just well. Kind of gives it a more unique feel. This is a coal hammer forged and now chrome lined barrel. It does have 14mm threads. The muzzle device does appear to be a US made. This barrel is actually a little under 22 inches long, about 21 3/4, give or take. And the gun without its bipod is about 10.5 pounds. And if we mount it, it gets pretty close to 12. Give or take exactly which variant of the M72 we're talking about. Notice these teeth up here. Well, they correspond with these. You just press up. And I know this shouldn't be something, but you know, I was just happy it had a cleaning rod. Century Arms has done us the other way enough that it's a sad thing that I don't even expect cleaning rods now. What are we coming to, folks? But let's put the bipod. Any self-respecting LMG video has to have a shot of it sitting on its own, minding its bipod. And with the standard mag, it just barely kind of monopods. But if you had something longer in there, well, that's not uncommon for these guns, I'm not gonna lie. And this QD bipod is pretty neat. With these teeth, there's actually grooves in there where it clicks in. And I definitely got it on, no problems, first try, trust me. Now, one thing is that when it does lock in, it can swivel. And I was wondering why they supplied a somewhat shorter cleaning rod. The reason is, actually, so you can get it out of the way. Because with that cleaning rod sticking through the bipod, it doesn't just readily come out. So you gotta kind of pull it down, do that. Doesn't matter. The Yugoslavians mostly use cleaning ropes anyway. And it just latches like a standard light machine gun. And while they did have larger capacity magazines, most of the ones I've seen in use were this size. But especially during the Civil Wars, they got their hands on anything they could to use. So what do you think? Do you like the kind of more traditional style that my kit build represents? Or this somewhat different style? Gotta be honest, I think an underfolder would be pretty cool. Years ago, I did a full video kind of comparing what is and isn't an RPK. I just wanted to give a very brief synopsis here with my Russian Malot kit build and this one. And some of this stuff might seem pedantic, but trust me, if you're going to replace parts, looking for parts, it's good to know ahead of time that a lot of the RPK parts will not directly fit. Beginning with the buttstock. Not only are they a different shape, they actually attach completely different. The RPK attaches like an AKM with 2 screws in the top, sliding in a top tang. Well, the M72 attaches like an M70 with a big old long screw. And while they both have 1.5 millimeter receivers, the rivet patterns are different. And of course the takedown here. Now most of your RPKs will have the smooth top cover, but early Russians and Romanians had the ribbed. The rear sight's almost a direct copy, I'll give you that. But when you get to the handguards, you might think these are direct copy as well. But they're not. The Russian handguard is 6 inches long, and this is closer to 5, meaning the Yugoslavian is shorter, meaning they don't switch out. Likewise, the Bipod. The Yugoslavian pattern is roughly 12 inches long, and the Russian pattern is roughly 13. Again, meaning they don't directly swap. And while both have heavy barrels, everything's pretty different. This is about a 23 1/4. This is, like I said earlier, about a 21 3/4. It's only 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches on the stretch. But where they really get you is the profile. The Russian is a little bit lighter weight. This is heavier here because of the vents. And also the Russian style barrel steps down more, whereas this continues a heavier profile. So the Zastava barrel is slightly shorter, but heavier, which is why the M72, apples to apples, does tend to weigh a little bit more than your average RPK. Of course, they both feed from the same mag and shoot the same ammunition, so I'm not going to say they're not close cousins. I'm just saying that RPK furniture, like Russian furniture, will not fit a Yugo M72, be it the original style or the current import style. Well, there you have a little preview, guys. Again, sorry, like I said, I just got in, got a lot to do, pretty tired, and just had to show you this. On the one hand, I wish it had come in a little bit earlier, but on the other hand, that means we'll have plenty of time to take it out and shoot it, not be in a rush next time. I'll give Zastava credit. They said at SHOT Show 2024, this would be coming out in the latter half of the year. They technically kept their word. Even if it came in the last week of the year, it did come in. Zastava's hit a nice point in the market for quality, dependability. More and more accessories are being made for the M70 and, by extension, M72 pattern. And they're really getting a great reputation, which they deserve. I'm telling you guys, in the past, it was Century Arms with the Romanian guns and Arsenal with the Bulgarian guns. But in recent years, Zastava with the Serbian guns and WBP with the Polish guns. I would include Pioneer and FB, but we don't know where that's going. I've started to kind of eclipse them. I'm not saying it's over. I mean, Century or Arsenal could come back, and really hit something, but when you hear news, when you see good deals, it tends to be Zastava and WBP and a few others now. Times change. And so it'll be interesting to see how the year 2025 does for the AK market. Because it is time things become more affordable and we can kind of get out and do more shooting and more enjoying, which is what these are all meant for, frankly. But anyway, let me know what you think. Does an RPK and LMG interest you? You think I'm being very pedantic when I say this isn't exactly like a Russian? Romanian? Or does it not matter to you? If not, that's cool. I get it. But I like pointing out differences just so people kind of know. But I'm happy this came out. I've said for years I'm just kind of a sucker for LMG saw types. Something about it, something on a bipod, just kind of sitting there under its own power is pretty nifty. But as always, if you could, please do like, share, and subscribe. Check out Patreon if you'd like to help support the channel, because we will get out to the range with this ASAP. And got plenty of other AK videos in the pipeline as we speak. This really is a nice rifle. Younger me would have been gaga for it. And even I like it nowadays. Yeah. Look forward to shooting it. This is Misha. Catch you very soon next time.